Hi everybody, this is Osprey from mychartcoach.com, and we're going to take a look here at some of the top stocks that were in play today. So yeah, there were quite a few stocks that were running. Another good day for the markets. Yeah, we had some also some big after hours movers as well. We'll get to that in a moment. First up though is AEMD. Okay, so this stock had a really nice break above resistance today. Now you have RSI above 70, Fastos above 80, so they both need to stay above that level. You can see the big parabolic spike on plus DI, and so today there was a breakout after the close above the 50-day simple moving average. So you can see here the green line had been turning into support, and then yesterday there was a nice close above the middle Bollinger Band, and today the big break higher. The close above the 100-day simple moving average was very bullish at 134. Bulls, you want to see that level hold. That's the big support level. That's the level to not see drop below tomorrow. There's going to be some resistance here at 170, and then the big level is the 200-day simple moving average at 191. So that is the next target. If it can get past 170, we're looking for a possible run up to the 200-day simple moving average at 191. If it fails to hold that 134 level, if it pulls back, then the candles could work back into the bands, and then the EMA 4 at 118 will be the first support level. Notice there was a PSAR bull flip, a giant volume spike today, and then after the pinched MACD, you can see the MACD line breaking out, and there's a crossover on the 8, 13, and 5. Okay, so take a look at the AEMD weekly chart. You can see here it's heating up. It has, notice how our RSI has not been above 50 for a very long time. It almost got above that level back in September, and so now it's at 47.66. If it can get above 50, the chart could really heat up. Now Fasto is breaking above 20. It had been under the 20 for a couple of months, and now it's breaking back above. That's usually a bullish signal. Now it needs to close above that level for the week. Keep in mind the weekly candle will not set until the closing bell on Friday, and so the big level to close above for the week is going to be the middle Bollinger Band at 132. That's the dotted purple line. You can see here the last big close above that level was in September. That level failed to hold. It held the next week, and then it broke. Support broke, and the downtrend continued. You could see back here in March it tried to get above in February. This was really the only two closes above the middle Bollinger Band in the entire year of 2017. You go back into 2016, there were no closes. So this is a big development. Now it has to stay above that level. If it pulls back below 132, that's just going to signal continuation of the previous downtrend. Now if the middle Bollinger Band turns into support, that will be a bullish change in trend, and then we'll be looking for a run up to the 50-week moving average at 222. Notice the really big volume spike this week. Check out the lower wick on the candle there. See how that dipped. That was the load in November, even though there wasn't much volume. It was light volume here the last couple of weeks, and then boom, the explosion this week. So yeah, so it's all about holding that 132 support level. Okay, take a look at CUR. This is another stock that's heating up here, and it's right now it's at 59 on RSI, and now Fasto's at 51. So they're both in the bull zone with room to run until the overbought levels. Today there was a nice technical bounce off of EMA 13 at 176, and there was a nice close above EMA 4 at 191. That is the key level to hold. You want to see the share price stay above $2 now that it broke that level, and so the next two key levels to break are going to be the closing price right here at about 225. If it can get above this level, then you're looking at a potential run all the way up to $3. The big level is going to be the closing price here on the 5th. Okay, so if it can get past the closing price on the 7th, you could see a run up there. The upper Bollinger Band, the open from here on the 6th, that's going to be a resistance level at 260 as well. If it drops below the EMA 4, that's going to signal more consolidation. It needs to hold the middle Bollinger Band down here at 147 to keep the uptrend going. Okay, let's take a look at IMUC. Okay, so this had the after hours news. Notice that it was at extreme oversold levels on RSI all the way down at 21. And then if you look here at the chart, it's coming off of the bottom. Check out that long lower wick on the 11th. So people were loading down here. That's what we call the load. So you had people filling up before the good news, and then notice that the candles have been riding below EMA 4 at 24 for multiple days in a row. They just drove it way down. They filled up the tank. Look at the big load today, and then boom, like magic. The news comes out today, and the share price takes off running. It got above 30, above the middle Bollinger Band. That level had been big resistance, and then it broke two key levels, which were the 50 and 100-day simple moving average at 34 and 33. And then once it got above those levels, it really took off. It found resistance after the first initial spike here at the key October double top level, which is at about 45. So you notice how it was stalling out at that level. That was a big double top level in October, and then finally in after hours trading, it busted above that level, and notice how that was lined up with the top of this gap. It turned into resistance, and so now there's a breakout above that level, and the share price closed tonight in after hours trading at 57 cents. So that's a really super strong move. The next big resistance level above, it's going to be, you're going to have resistance here at the open, which is at 60 cents, and then you're also going to have the next big level to get to is going to be the bottom of this gap. So notice there's a gap between low of day on this candle and high of day on this candle on July 17th, the low of day, and then high of day on July 18th. That's lining up with 70 cents. So the bottom of the gap now is going to be the big key level to break at 70 cents. If it can get above 70 cents, then it could have a gap fill and run up to the 200-day simple moving average at 105. That would fill the gap. So keep in mind there is going to be, if the share price does stay at these elevated levels, there's going to be a big gap up open. The gap means that the candle today closed way down here, and there's going to be a space, and the open is going to be all the way up here. So there's going to be a space just similar to this space here. And the candles kept going down, and they haven't filled that space. So they could push higher, and if they did do that, that would be a big island cluster reversal. Gaps many times do get filled. We'll just have to see what happens. If a black candle starts forming tomorrow, if you see the share price start trading below the open, that will be a signal of weakness. You want to see a white candle form. You want to see the share price pushing above the open tomorrow. That will be a sign that the stock is strong. Okay, let's look at DPW. Okay, so it's above 70 on RSI. It's above 80 on Fasto. So they're both in the power zone. They both need to stay above that level. And so this has been pushing, and it's forming all these indecision candles. When you get multiple indecision candles like this in a row, when they just keep popping up, they lose their significance. It would be different if there were multiple white candles in a row. This has been the pattern here with this stock as it's cruising higher. Notice how they're walking it higher. It keeps making higher highs and higher lows. And it came down and tested EMA 4. It kept pushing higher. The whole key right now is just keep watching EMA 4 at 425. That's a good level to have the trailing stop. And if it breaks below that level, if it's going to close below that level, the safe thing to do is to exit. It closed below here and it didn't break down. That's cool. That's great. But you have to play it safe. If the next day it doesn't pop back above EMA 4, then it has to hold EMA 8 at 365. So as long as the pink line's holding and you're a swing trader, the signal's to keep riding. It is getting frothy with this candle forming above the upper Bollinger Band. The candles could work back into the band. There was a big volume today. It was still a fairly tight trading range compared to the previous candles. They're waiting for the ICO. We'll see what happens. If you look at the 15-minute chart here, I think this is the way to track to see whether or not it's going to break down. And if you look at the green line right here, this is the 50 simple moving average. Notice how it held here on the 12th, and then it held again on the 13th, and then the close was right, testing that level. So that currently it's at 487. If you see the share price tomorrow drop below 487, that's going to signal the chart's breaking down. That level has to hold. Okay, if it doesn't hold, there's going to be a drop, and it's going to head down to the 100 simple moving average, which is currently at 414. If that level holds, then what you want to see is a break above the middle Bollinger Band at 519. If it can get back above that level, then you're looking at the closing price up here, the high close. That's the big level to break, right up here around 575. So yeah, so keep an eye on DPW for potential breakdown if it drops below 487. Okay, look at ROKA. Okay, so yeah, this stock is just keep an eye on this one. All right, it's been trading sideways for quite some time. It doesn't have very much volume. Look how low the volume is. So what we're doing now is we're stalking our prey, looking for a volume spike, and you know, this might have a quick trade. You can see here where it's made some big moves in the past, and what we're looking for is a break now above the 50-day simple moving average at 118. Okay, so the close today above the middle Bollinger Band at $1 was a signal that the chart is heating up. Okay, so it wasn't on very much volume, but it is a signal to keep an eye on it now. Let's see if it can hold that level. So if it stays above $1, it's in play. If it drops below about $1, that signals more consolidation. And then what you want to see now is a break above high close resistance. You want to see a break above this candle right here on the 23rd at about 112 or so. If you can get above that level, then you're going to see that would break this sideways channel, and then it'll be the 50-day simple moving average. If it gets above the 50-day simple moving average, it could really get running, and then we would see a move up here to the 100-day simple moving average at 137, and then, you know, if it can bust above that, that's when it could really get going. The tight Bollinger Bands here are a signal that a move is coming soon. It's either going to bust through the upper Bollinger Band at 110, or it's going to drop through the lower Bollinger Band at 90. You know, it looks like it's formed a double bottom here. You know, it bottomed, came up, formed another bottom. You know, it looks like it has higher lows going. Yeah, so just keep an eye on it. We'll see if it can break resistance. Okay, let's look at DRNG here. This is an over-the-counter stock. It's been trading. It's been on a really nice run. Now it has RSI at 75, fast toes at 79. Notice how the black line crossed the red line to the downside. So that is a sell signal. Notice here when that happened back in November, it did consolidate. So it's an early signal. It's an early red flag signal. So it needs to cross back above. It also dropped below 80. That's another sign of weakness. That happened due to the upper wick on today's candle, and so there was also a bullish crossover on ADX here with the plus DI crossing ADX to the upside, and so after closing above the middle Bollinger or the 50-day simple moving average yesterday, which we did put out alerts. So congrats everyone that caught that. This had really nice follow through today, and it ran to the next target, which was the 100-day simple moving average, and that's where it topped early in the morning and pulled back. We did do we were doing a case study. You know, we were I did a play-by-play on this early in the morning, posting some charts showing the setup where it was topping out and it had the climax spike at the 100-day simple moving average, and it pulled back, and that was the high of day. And so it has to break above that level to head higher. If it fails to get above the 18 and the 100-day simple moving average, then the candles will likely work back into the bands. Notice how it's on a 5-day run, and there was a huge volume spike today. This looks like a potential climax spike, meaning that the temporary top. And so if the candles work back into the bands, EMA 4 at 11 will be the first major support level. So you want to see the 10 level hold as well. And as long as the candles stay above the 50-day simple moving average, this uptrend is still intact and really strong. If it can break above 18, then we're looking for a run up to 24. Now take a look at the DRNG 15-minute chart. You can see it has a really nice pattern going here. You know, they stair-stepped it up. They could go for another one. You know, this looks like 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I mean, it looks like they're doing the Elliott wave pattern, heading higher here. So we're going to see whether or not it's going to break above resistance, which is going to be this 16.5 level. That's the huge resistance level to break, or is it going to drop below support, which is 14.5. So tomorrow, those are the two big levels. Keep an eye on them. Above 16.5, then you're looking for a retest of the high of day up here at that that 18.5, 19 level. If it breaks below 14.5, that's going to signal weakness, and you could see a drop down to the 50 simple moving average at 12.5. So yeah, so this was the climax spike that we were talking about today. So in the chat, we had been, because we were on this before, we had charted the breakout above the moving averages, and then it had the big run yesterday, right? And it traded sideways into the close. It held above all the moving averages, and then today it had the big push higher. And so you're always, when it's a stock's on a multi-day run, you're looking for a reason to lock in gains. And when there was the big spike to high of day and a pullback, that candle was signaling, okay, this looks like the climax spike. And notice how it was on the largest volume of the day. So this was all signals, lock in those gains. And then it turned out to be the high of day. It failed to get back above, the key level here, the 16.5. And so just keep that in mind for future reference. The patterns never change. The ticker symbols do. Okay, so these patterns keep repeating. If you can learn the pattern, then you can learn the timing. Okay, here's GOHE here. It's been on a really nice uptrend. So it does have RSI at 75. Fasto is only at 72. They've been stair-stepping this higher. It does have a declining volume pattern as the share price is rising, and so that is a sign that the sellers are starting to tire. It's forming these small candles. It broke above 10. 10 is the big key level to hold. That's EMA 4. It's been riding above EMA 4 this entire time. It did close below and test EMA 8 and held that level. That is the downside risk. If it breaks EMA 4, it could drop down to EMA 8. This is trying to just keep pushing higher. 13 is now the big level to break. If it fails to break above 13, notice how that was hit multiple times as a top. It was hit here, hit here, hit here. If 13 fails to break, that'll be a sign of weakness. And then if it drops below 11, that's going to be the red flag. Okay, so keep an eye on GOHE. If you look here at the GOHE weekly chart, you can see here it's been on just an awesome multi-week run. So it's currently on a 4-week run. It's been running for a month straight. And it had that big long upper wick last week, and it pulled back, but it held the 200 and 300 week moving averages, so that was really bullish. It stayed above those levels, and then it had the gap up open this week, and it's pushing higher. It's currently breaking above 10, which was big resistance from back here in 2013, and then it broke above this high from 2016, and then now it's hitting the 14 level, which was from 2014. And so if it can get above 14 and get above 16, this zone right here, it could get moving, and it could possibly run up to 32, which 32 was the high close from back in 2014. I mean, look at the volume behind this move. Okay, thank you very much for viewing this video. If you'd like to learn more about charts and technical analysis, come please check out our chat, our stock app. It's a great tool. There's lots of good content, and you can learn how to trade using the charts and technical analysis. It's yeah, thank you very much for viewing the video.